Depending on the angle of the shot, all I need to know is the context. One of the best forms of the static shot is in Clockwork Orange, where the camera just stays right on him while he's being tortured. He can't move, and it really emphasizes the way that we just feel like he can't move, like he's stuck watching this. And he utterly hates the film that's being shown. I can't show it, but just know that he's in agonizing pain. And it's not, and when you look at it, it's not really that hard to not believe. And here is Margaret Robbie watching her own film in a film where she's another actress and she's watching her own film and she starred in a film. Also, she shows her feet in the scene, and this captures her very joyous, gleeful expression at watching this movie. And you see how these two are close-ups basically because they're both, I don't know, people call anything a close-up, but let's just say that they're both static shots and both close-ups, and yet they're both used for completely different purposes. The second one that we were talking about is used to capture her reaction to the movie, and we capture Alex DeLarge's reaction to a completely different movie. One is in awe and the other one is being tortured. And this is what using a shot is really all about, the context behind it. The shots go hand in hand with the story. Without your shots in your story, then it's just a book. It's a script. And in this video, we're going to continue talking about Clockwork Orange because it just does it so well. We'll go through the motions. So if you enjoy, subscribe. Like, I don't have that many. You would be a valuable customer. Like to. And just enjoy. So much earlier in the movie, there's this very cheeky scene where he's trying to flirt with two girls at once in this futuristic library. The context behind this scene is that he basically went to Barnes & Noble just to flirt with some girls. Really cheeky scene where he's following these girls basically, and he's flirting with them, and there's a tracking shot. The camera perfectly tracks. The camera tracks where he's moving. A tracking shot is where the camera actually follows the person. And the tracking is usually centered at some point, but it doesn't always have to be. And it gives us this, and his body language, but it really gives this persistent feel. He's very persistent because the camera is being persistent with him. But I wouldn't straight up think that it's more of a subconscious thing, but it does make him look that way. Another scene where he's very persistent is where he's broken into this woman's house and he's basically harassing her before he eventually kills her. And it's a centered shot while the background is moving around him, like he's going around in circles with this girl. A lot of harassment of women in this movie. But it gives this idea that, he's like the background's moving and he's running and he's clearly chasing her with, I'm not gonna say what that is, with this solidified phallic object. Like the entire world's running away and he's just following you, the camera. Watching this scene, I subconsciously felt like I was being harassed. Okay, you get the point at this point. Now there's this scene in Ip Man. The context of this scene is that this area of China has been annexed by the Japanese. It's during World War II, and he's fighting to win a bag of rice. So he has to fight these 10 dudes using his martial art, Wing Chun, while they use their Japanese martial art. For reference, this guy has a family too. And it's this overhead shot of him standing with all these people, standing in the middle of them. Center shot as well. But the camera shots, after we find this out, the camera focuses on that last piece of bread he has to feed his family, and then he goes to fight them. The suspense and the music in this scene is so good, and then the way he just dispatches them right after is incredible. Also, this is definitely much more than 10 people, my bad. The same type of thing happens in Kill Bill, except the context is that she just wants revenge. And then there's a shot that focuses on her sword, and then when she flashes the sword, everybody steps back. It's so good, and just shows that she's intimidating them. The same thing happens when she's surrounded and the camera sort of panders on this one guy's katana for a little too long, and we follow that up with a close-up, and it just shows how horrified she is. This is how a close-up should be done. How it's just it's such a clear emotion that is being shown. So many close-ups are just so vague, but in this one, I know exactly what is going on through her mind. And in the ensuing chaos before the actual fight begins, the sound of the zombies in this scene, it makes it sound like she's surrounded by zombies. They're not zombies, by the way. I just had to clarify that. But it feels like she's in The Walking Dead or something. Like something's going on. Hot diggity dog. And when she finishes all of them off, and there's this rhythm to to the scene after, he goes, and this guy's spinning with his swords, and he's like, yo ja, yo ja, yo ja, and then there's the music going. It keeps getting louder, keeps getting high pitched. So there's this rhythm. So without the rhythm, and you're just watching this normally, this is hard to understand what is kind of going on. But the music, it just ties it together. It's like. and then she eventually cuts his leg off. And that's something else that can blend in with that. And same thing with that Eat Man scene I was talking about. There's a rhythm to how he punches everyone. And of course, there's music going on in the background as well of this. Maybe I'll find some stock music by like Kevin MacLeod to put over this that somehow goes over it, or I'll speed it up or something. I definitely will do that, actually. Yeah, so. And there's this shot at the end of a Breaking Bad episode. It's a slight spoiler, but I won't tell you who he's doing it to. But there's a scene where Jesse shoots someone, and the camera slowly turns towards you, and then boom. And no matter how many times I watch that, I always feel like he just shot me, bro. When it really comes down to it, shots and angles, like, if you have the passion, you just can't help but make a good movie. You just can't help it. It's like pooping for you. So the next time you watch some boring drama about crime or something, or one of those doctor dramas, I mean, there's some exceptions, obviously, but when they just put this default boring side by side, like I'm in a bigger cut scene, like a graphic novel looking talking shot scene, I don't even know what to call this. This is so basic. I can't stand this. It's just, I think it's a shoulder shot actually, but just compare how you feel looking at this all the time while comparing it to this. It's no contest. And there's also things like the Dutch angle and stuff like that, but yeah. But you really should be getting creative with these type of things. And the exact creativity that I mean is like in 2001: A Space Odyssey, that scene where that dude is running around the wheel-shaped spaceport. These fantastic, innovative shots where the Dutch angle doesn't even have horizon line to draw off of, and they're in space. There is no horizon line to draw off of. And the shots of those silent space monuments, these spaceships, there's the phrase that less is more, and this is exactly what it is. If it was silent, you would just appreciate looking at this space thing because there's nothing else to look at. And having no music to accompany this just makes you appreciate it more. Are you keeping your shots consistent? Then you're enforcing a feeling onto your audience. Are you not keeping your shots consistent? Then you're also enforcing a feeling onto the audience. How long you keep the camera on something, whether you pan or not, adding a handheld shake or a dolly glide, or to the music that accompanies it, to the damn colors on the screen. You have to be completely purposeful. And people throw this word around way too much nowadays. But when everything you do in a film is on purpose, that is how masterpieces are actually born. Unlike those video titles. Sorry, but it makes me feel overexhausted at this point. And those black lines. Oh, those black lines. It's my talk about color language all over again. It doesn't take a genius to see the difference that these two little guys can make. And I don't have to explain their effect as much as you can literally feel it with their presence. The only reason these lines exist is due to aspect ratio. Screens tend to not be able to fit the exact same size of certain films with certain aspect ratios. So over time, people just sort of put it in, giving birth to the black lines. But nowadays, people are so used to seeing these, it's not a big deal that you have a little skin show. What really matters is their added effect to the story, in a visual way. For example, if my story is about it's like a super serious action movie thriller type thing, then I'd probably want my black lines to be like this and not like this. Also, certain aspect ratios will force you to put things closer together, which makes them seem symbolically closer than if two people were as far away as possible from each other. It's not really easy to show that in a tight ratio than without making one of them be in the foreground and one in the background. Most blockbuster movies like to hold your hand. They don't really respect the audience too much. Not as much as other things I've seen that will make you pay attention and piece things together yourself in your mind. So they add these black lines so that you're focused more. It's almost like you're squinting at the screen. There's less to see and there's more to see. And there it is again, less is more. Kill la Kill does this thing where they make the aspect ratio 2:1 so that during flashbacks, so that you know it's a flashback. And they also change the entire color of the to tannish so that you know it's a flashback. You can do some pretty crazy things with this if you have the right mind.